Hey everybody, welcome to the Parent Recap. This week we talked about the last king that we're going to talk about actually for this study in the Old Testament. We talked about King Solomon, the wise king, the king who was given wisdom by God, and on top of riches and glory and all these other things. The king who builds the temple. So this king we talked about, and the kind of what we've been talking about these last few weeks with King Saul, King David, and King Solomon is that all these kings, they do great things, but they ultimately fall short. They ultimately make mistakes. They ultimately are not the king that we need, the king who's perfect and able to lead us perfectly. So we kind of talked about that. We talked about wisdom and how wisdom is not just knowing stuff, but applying it to our day-to-day lives, and how wisdom is not just it's a work in progress. It's a thing that takes effort and commitment to really learn and apply to our lives. And so then for that, the next week is the last lesson in the Old Testament. So we're going to talk about some prophets and that kind of stuff next week. And then after that, actually, we have Christmas break. We're on break for about 4 or 5 weeks, and then we'll come back again in January, and we'll be in the New Testament. So for that, and to kind of remind us of that and keep us on the same page there, I'm gonna have a big review resource that I'm gonna kind of put out today with this video in an email that I'll send out. That'll have a review of everything we've kind of talked about: the key characters, the key stories, the key ideas, these kind of things. It's going to be a big review sheet that they can have to kind of look over it. Because at the end, I'll talk about this with them next week, at the end of all this, at the end of the year, we are going to do like a little bit of a test, not like I hate to say test because it's not going to be a test, it's not graded or anything like that, but like a review of what we've talked about. So that is something that I want them to kind of have something to look over, because we've talked about a lot of names, a lot of people, a lot of places, a lot of things. And knowing all of that stuff can be kind of difficult. So giving them something that they can use to kind of review that, remember that, and keep it in their brains is something that we're going to try to work towards. So that'll be coming out today so that they can look over it for next Wednesday, because a part of the lesson is going to be a little quick review of what we've talked about. So we'll kind of use that to kind of guide that review a little bit. So that's kind of what we're looking forward to. That's kind of what's coming up in the next couple weeks. So this is the Parent Recap. We'll see y'all next week again. Thanks. Bye-bye.